The alarm on Brian's phone goes off at 7 in the morning. He sits up in his small hotel bed and looks at the Columbia welcome letter on his nightstand. Today's the day, first day at Columbia University. He picks up the letter and reads it again. Orientation starts at 9 o'clock. He has 2 hours to get ready and find his way to campus. I can do this. Yesterday I got lost on the subway, and I still made it back. Today will be better. Brian gets dressed in his best jeans and a clean button-down shirt. He looks in the mirror and takes a deep breath. You're Brian Murphy from Galway. You got into Columbia. You belong here. Downstairs in the hotel lobby, Jessica is behind the front desk with her morning coffee. She sees Brian coming down the stairs.
Good morning, Brian. Big day today, right?
Morning, Jessica. Yeah, first day of orientation. I'm pretty nervous.
That's totally normal. I remember my first day at NYU. I was terrified.
Really? You seem so confident about everything.
Oh, trust me, I wasn't always like this. New York changes you, but it takes time.
Jessica leans forward on the counter, giving Brian her full attention.
Have you eaten anything yet? You need breakfast before a big day like this.
I'm too nervous to eat much. My stomach feels all twisted up.
I get that, but you need energy. There's a good deli 2 blocks down. Just ask for a bagel with cream cheese.
A bagel?
It's like round bread with a hole in the middle. Very New York. You'll love it.
Okay, I trust you. Which subway do I take to get to Columbia?
The #1 train. Take it uptown to 116th Street. That's the Columbia stop.
Uptown? That means north, right?
Exactly. You're getting the hang of this city already.
Brian smiles for the first time that morning. Jessica's encouragement makes him feel a little better. What if my English isn't good enough? What if I can't understand the professors?
Brian, your English is fine. And if you don't understand something, just ask. Americans love helping people.
Do they really?
Most of them, yeah. Especially at universities. Everyone there wants to learn and help others learn too.
Brian nods and picks up his backpack. It contains his laptop, notebooks, and all his important documents. Right then, off I go.
Wait, take my card. If you need anything today, just call or text me.
You don't have to do that.
I want to. We newcomers need to stick together.
Brian takes Jessica's business card and puts it carefully in his wallet. Thank you, Jessica. I mean it.
Go get that bagel first. And Brian, you're going to do great today.
Brian walks out of the hotel into the busy New York morning. The city is already full of people rushing to work and school. Right. First stop, the deli, then Columbia. At the deli, Brian stands behind 3 other customers. He listens carefully to what they order so he can practice in his head. Lox, what's lox? When it's Brian's turn, the man behind the counter looks at him expectantly. A bagel with cream cheese, please? Oh, what kinds do you have? Plain is fine, thank you. Brian pays and takes his bagel. He finds a small table by the window and takes his first bite. Oh wow, this is actually really good. As he eats, Brian watches people walking past the window. Everyone looks like they know exactly where they're going. Soon I'll be like that too, I hope. After breakfast, Brian walks to the subway station. He finds the #1 train platform and waits. 116th Street, Uptown, I can remember that. The train arrives and Brian gets on. It's crowded with college students carrying backpacks. Some of them might be going to Columbia too. These could be my classmates. Maybe I should try to talk to someone. But before he can work up the courage, the train announcer speaks over the loudspeaker. That's me. Brian gets off the train with about 20 other people. Most of them are heading in the same direction. I'll just follow them. They probably know where they're going. Brian follows the group up the subway stairs and onto the street. He sees the Columbia University gates ahead. There it is. Columbia University, I'm really here. The campus is beautiful with old brick buildings and green lawns. Students are walking around with confident expressions. Okay, Brian, find the orientation. You can do this? Brian looks at his welcome letter again. Orientation is in Low Library. He looks around and sees signs pointing to different buildings. Low Library. There's a sign. This way. As he walks across campus, Brian hears different languages being spoken around him. Spanish, Chinese, French, and others he can't identify. I'm not the only international student here. That's good to know. Outside Low Library, There's a table with two students behind it. One has a clipboard, and the other has a stack of name tags. Yes, I am. I'm Brian Murphy. She hands Brian a name tag that says Brian Murphy, Ireland, with the Columbia logo. Thank you. Brian walks into Low Library. There are about 50 students sitting in rows of chairs. Some are talking quietly to each other. Others are sitting alone looking nervous. I'm not the only nervous one. That makes me feel better. Brian finds an empty chair near the back. He puts on his name tag and looks around at the other students. So many different people from so many places. This is amazing. A girl with a name tag that says Maria, Mexico, is sitting next to him. She looks as nervous as he feels. Brian, nice to meet you. Yeah, I just got here 4 days ago. What about you? Same here. Yesterday I ended up in Brooklyn by mistake. A very nice man helped me figure out the subway. New Yorkers are actually quite friendly. At the front of the room, a woman in a Columbia shirt taps on the microphone. The room gets quiet. Brian feels his heart beating faster. She's right, I am nervous. Brian sits up straighter in his chair. Her words make him feel proud. Yeah, I need all the help I can get. Brian listens carefully as Sarah explains how American universities work. Ask questions, share opinions. Okay. Brian thinks about this. In Ireland, he was always quiet in class. This will be different. Student ID, I'll need that. Me too. Well, I'm learning too. A student near the front raises her hand. 100 countries? Wow. Brian feels a weight lift off his shoulders. Maybe his Irish accent won't be a problem after all. The room fills with the sound of chairs moving and people turning to face each other. And you're Maria from Mexico. What are you studying here? Literature. I want to be a writer someday. A few short stories back home. Nothing published or anything like that. A tall guy with a German accent joins their conversation. Nice to meet you, Klaus. I never thought of it that way. Brian likes Klaus immediately. His confidence is reassuring. The small group conversations end, and everyone turns back to face the front. The group of international students follows Sarah out of Low Library and onto the main campus quad. It's beautiful, like something from a movie. Brian looks at the huge library building. It's impressive and a little intimidating. I'm going to spend a lot of time in there. The group laughs. Even Brian smiles. The atmosphere is starting to feel more relaxed. Sarah leads them to a small building with a sign that says International Student Services. What about, if you're worried about fitting in? Brian is relieved to know there are people whose job it is to help students like him. As the tour continues, Brian starts to feel more comfortable. The campus is big, but it's starting to feel manageable. Oh, good, I'm getting hungry. In the dining hall, Brian is amazed by all the choices. Pizza, salads, sandwiches, international foods from different countries. There's so much to choose from. Only one way to find out. Brian gets a sandwich and sits with Maria and Klaus. Other international students join their table. Green, very green, and it rains a lot, but it's beautiful. Yeah, I do. Especially my family. But this feels like an adventure. A girl from South Korea sits down with them. Please sit, I'm Brian. Exactly. Scary but exciting. I'm actually staying at a hotel nearby, just until I find a proper place. It is, but the woman at the front desk has been really helpful. She's been like a guide for me. After lunch, the orientation group meets back in Low Library for their final session. Brian pulls out his notebook to take notes. He wants to remember everything. Monday, that's only 5 days away. Brian writes down textbooks in his notebook. He hadn't thought about that yet. A whole semester? Brian looks around at Maria, Klaus, and Sujin. Maybe she's right. The students spend the next few minutes sharing phone numbers and email addresses. I'd love that. I still don't know my way around very well. The students clap and start gathering their things. Brian feels a mix of excitement and nervousness about what comes next. Back to my hotel, I need to call my family and tell them how today went. Really? That would be brilliant. Brian writes down his hotel address and gives it to his new friends. As they say goodbye, he realizes he doesn't feel quite so alone anymore. See you all on Saturday then. Brian walks back across campus toward the subway station. The afternoon sun is shining on the Columbia buildings, making everything look golden. I did it. First day at Columbia, and I survived. I even made friends. As he waits for the subway train, Brian pulls out his phone to text Jessica. Orientation went well. Made some friends. Thank you for the encouragement this morning. Jessica texts back almost immediately.
So proud of you. Can't wait to hear all about it.
On the train back to the hotel, Brian thinks about everything that happened today. The nervousness, the new people, the huge campus, the possibilities ahead. This is really happening. I'm a Columbia University student now. But as the train pulls into a station, Brian realizes something that makes his stomach drop. In 5 days, he'll be sitting in actual classes with actual professors. Today was just orientation. Monday. Real classes start on Monday, with real American students who've been speaking English their whole lives. Suddenly, all his fears come rushing back. What if he can't keep up? What if he doesn't understand the lectures? What if everyone realizes he doesn't belong here? What have I gotten myself into?